welcome to a very special Mastermind Meetup series. I'm Liz Rossell with C-Level Social. You know I like to just jump on in, but let me just quickly say we are doing a whole series with almost all of the candidates from the SNA 2023 election. So we're really excited to offer this opportunity to get to know the candidates a little bit more than just their bios on the website. So today we're going to jump on in. Remember, you can comment with your questions. Let me make sure I have my screen up here. But please comment with your questions for Krista, who is our first let me see, mute that there. Our very first guest. Krista, it's so great to see you all the time.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Real quick, I mean, we have to tell our backstory is I hitchhiked along with everybody in Oklahoma at LAC, and they adopted me, and and you were part of that group.
Yep. We were glad to have you.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I learned a lot. So if you have questions for Krista, please chime in with them. But I have some prepared just in case we'll see how this goes. We're back in action. First up, let's start with the easy one, Krista. And you are let's start too with your where are you? What district are you with? Maybe share a little bit about your district too.
So I am at Stillwater Schools in Oklahoma. So we're kind of in between Tulsa and Oklahoma City's one way, Tulsa's the other. We have, I'm the nutrition services director. We have, I want to say 6,200 kids. We dropped down during COVID and we're kind of creeping back up. And so I don't keep that number in my head, but I think we're close back to 62 where we were pre-COVID. We're about we're up to 45% free. So we're getting a little higher on free. 6 elementaries, 1 high school, a junior high and a middle school. We're a little weird. So
nice. And what position are you running for in the 2023 election?
So I'm running for the Southwest representative to the Leadership Development Committee, and Southwest, which is new because we've switched, SNA regions have switched to match the USDA regions. And so I had to look it up. So we're Utah, Arizona, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, and New Mexico. So Utah and I think Arizona are new to me. So.
Okay. Awesome. Leadership Development Committee. That sounds so exciting. I love that. So you're perfect for that too. Well, sorry, I'm not endorsing anybody. Just, I know, you know what I mean? I'm sorry. I get swept up because I know I've just known you over the years. So let's just, I'm gonna keep on going through, but if you have a question for Krista, please comment. One question I want to ask you is everybody has these really, really long, impressive resumes. Every candidate does. All the roles they've played in school nutrition. What's one position that you've held in your career, whether in school nutrition or not? What's one position you've held that you're most proud of?
Well, and like you said, I think all of the candidates, all of us have good resumes, but also well vetted, and we have an application process and an interview process, and so I hate to discount myself, but all of the candidates are going to be great. Everybody's going to be good. I've been in school nutrition pretty much my whole career. I started geared my graduate school program to get into school nutrition. In grad school, I took a job in WIC because I was like, this is a little part-time job will get me through grad school. Well, 8 years later, I was still there. And I had several, really slow clinics, really busy clinics. I was at the state level in 3 jobs. So I did that for a while, and then I fell back into school nutrition, which is where I wanted to be. So I've been in this position now since 2009, and it's really my big, I was at Tulsa Public Schools for a few weeks, but this has been here. So
love it. So similarly, what's a project or an accomplishment in your career that you are most proud of?
Right now I'm, lots of big things, many little things. And I know this sounds kind of silly, but my favorite thing right now is chicken Parmesan. We had a recipe. It was terrible. It was horrible. Bleh. We had it. Nobody ate it. We revamped the recipe. Today we had chicken Parmesan and it was really yummy. And there were empty trash cans and the high school kids told me they liked it. And I am much happier if I can celebrate all of those little, like, yay, we did something, we improved it. I can see we've made something better. So that's my kind of celebration today, was just like chicken parmesans, yay, it was really good. So little
Yeah, if
things,
you're
but
getting
that's I like my little wins every day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You gotta look for those.
Yeah.
And I should have known that it wouldn't be completely quiet if Dan Elnor is watching. He always chimes in with the best
Hey.
questions. And Dan is actually going to be on one of these too. I promise to get all the dates up, but we have like 7 or 8 candidates that will be on, and Dan is one of them. Okay, so Dan, I know you had 2 questions here. So Leadership Development Committee. What are the best ways a new person can get involved? And Dan, we actually prepped for the first time ever in Mastermind Meetup history, and we're kind of going to touch on this in a little bit. So, but what's the best ways a new person can get involved?
I mean, the way I get involved, the way I got involved with the state, the way I've gotten involved with the national level is, there are always calls for, hey, we need volunteers, or hey, we're looking for people to join these committees. And for lack of a better term, and I apologize for saying, you start out in those smaller roles. Like in the state, what was my first? It was a district director. I can't remember the title, but I was like in charge of planning meetings for district directors. And that was relatively small. And I just got in there and met people and started my process and my growth and my leadership journey. Same thing with National SNA. I was on the Nutrition and Research Committee, and I just started on a committee. And it was really just, hey, calling for volunteers. Let me put my name in. I'm interested in these few things. Put me where I fit. And so it's just start small, get to know people, and not get to know people so that you have a base of people to vote for you at some point, but get to know people because the organization is so much more fun and better the more people you know.
It's almost like you queued him up for his next question.
I,
I don't know if you saw
I
it.
did not on purpose.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so and it's
Yeah.
a good transition here, because I've seen it, and let me back up to what you said about, getting involved at the state level.
Mhm.
Like, everybody's there, they want you there. And
Yes.
I've seen this so many times at different state
Yes.
associations, is it's the same people running, the
Yeah.
same people over and over. And it's not that they don't want to do it, but they're going to get burnt out and they're not going to be there forever.
Right.
So Dan asked, so how do you answer this question, Krista?
Okay.
I hear SNA is a little cliquey. Don't you just have to know someone to do this kind of stuff?
No, you don't just have to know someone. Now, it feels that way sometimes. I think it can feel that way because sometimes people are not comfortable putting themselves forward. They really want to be asked. And so that's kind of my job on the leadership development committee, is to ask those people to say, hey, come on, join us, join our clique. Sorry. I think of it, I see it more. I'm very involved with some of my kids' activities, and I see it with, I'm helping to plan project graduation right now, and I'm helping to do some stuff with color guard. And I was like, oh, I need help. And, people are always like, I'll do anything you want, but they're not, they don't feel comfortable saying, hey, here's the thing I'm willing to do. And so like today I had to send an email to somebody to say, hey, on Saturday, I need you to do me this favor, please. Can you do it? And they were like, oh yeah, of course. With project graduation, I'm like, I need more volunteers. I need more people helping. And I was like, hey, person I don't know all that well, I have this job I think you'd be great for. And she was like, really? Okay, cool. And is taken off. And I think people will do that with SNA as well. It helps if people put themselves forward, but a lot of times they just need to be asked.
Yeah.
People just want to be asked.
I can see that a lot, of getting well, just let me know what you need. If you let me know what you need, I'll do it.
Right.
You have to be so specific.
Yes. My favorite blogger said this once about, like when somebody's family passes away, everybody's like, oh, if you need anything, just I'll do anything you want. And I know that people truly mean that when they say that, but like I'm thinking when my father passed away, people were like, if you need anything, great. And I'm like, I don't know what I need. My friend called and said, hey, I know you've been busy. How about I go get you stuff so you have breakfast ready first thing in the morning? And I was like, perfect, thank you very much. And it's the same thing with SNA. Sometimes we may not know, um, like those broad, I'll do anything you need, help, just call me if you need me. Like, I know people mean that, but sometimes that's just too broad. Like, we really need, like, hey, if I ask you, hey, I would love for you to put your name in for Nutrition and Research Committee, people will be like, oh yeah, cool, great idea, love it. Did
Right.
I say that right?
Yeah,
Sorry, I
no.
didn't mean to compare SNA to my father passing away, but
No, but you're right, and I'll tack on to that was, someone told me when they lost, a family member, and I knew somebody else who lost a family member. I was like, "What do I do?" And they said, "Don't disappear." Everybody comes around and they're like, "Yeah, I'll do whatever. I'll help you. I'll help." And then like 2 weeks later,
Mhm.
crickets. So kind of
Right,
same thing. I mean, not to get too
right.
dark, but
Well,
yeah.
it's like having a new baby. Um,
Yeah.
okay, you have a young child. People were like, "Oh, I'll do anything." But if somebody had called you and said, "Hey, I'm driving by your house. Can I bring you a pack of diapers?" You'd been like,
Yeah.
"Yes." Right? "Hey, I'll do anything." "Okay, I really need you to put your name in for this particular committee. Would you be willing to do it?" And people usually are.
Yeah. And try to like, I mean, I feel like there's so many people that have amazing talents, like specific talents that you're like, "Oh, I could use that." Like, so don't be
Yes.
afraid to be like, "I enjoy one thing. We can
Uh-huh.
apply that elsewhere."
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. Totally true. Totally true.
Okay. So, Dan, if you have any more thought-provoking questions, I
Thanks,
know
Dan.
you
Those are
do.
great questions.
He's always great about that. Okay, and then I actually had 2, prepared questions, but it's 8:11. We usually try to wrap up after 15 minutes, so we're doing great on time. I had 2 more questions for you. One's a little broad. What's something that you'd like SNA members to know about you? We like to have this to be, casual, fun conversation, and we're already there. But as people, like, head to the polls and stuff, like, what's something you think is just kinda interesting or fun that you think be good for them to know about you?
I don't
Mhm.
know. I'm fun. I know lots of people. I'm pretty outgoing.
We talked earlier, you do have the big skirts
I
and you
have usually have big skirts. I like to dress like it's 1960 if I
yeah.
possibly can. We talked about it because this showed up in one of my dance classes because I take a lot of dance classes. Um,
Oh my goodness, I
maybe,
love it.
maybe in a year I'll tap dance for you. I don't know. Bad
Okay,
happens
there you
bad.
go.
Yeah.
I need
I
that at a
don't.
national show.
I like I said. I think hate to I hate to discount myself, but really, all of our candidates are just really incredible people. Like, you're not going to go wrong with any one of us. We're here because we want to be. We're here because we want to serve SNA. We're here because we want to help. Like I said, I spent years and years and years in the American Dietetic Association, and I was like, why am I doing this? And then somebody said, hey, I've got this spot for you. Could you come do this kind of leadership position? I was like, oh, completely different organization. And so I want to find people who can get involved and do things because the organization is so much better when you're involved and you know people, and it's just so much better.
Yeah.
So much better.
Absolutely. You're kind of answered my last question, but
Oh no.
I'll still say it just in case there's
Okay.
anything else you want to do to wrap up. Thanks everybody for watching. We really appreciate it. We'll be back. I've got a long list. We'll be back with more of these. But
First.
last question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, Krista, for being the first, the guinea pig of
It's
the.
because this is the day that fit my schedule.
I know, yeah. That's how I'm running into a lot of that,
Mhm.
and actually, sent out an email to all candidates, and then so many came back, and then I was like, "I have literally just a few days left to fill." So, we're not denying anybody. We wanna do this for everybody, so we might do some on the weekends, everybody, but stick with us. It just means to get everybody in before the election starts. Um, so, Krista, to wrap us up, if elected at the end of your term, what's something that you hope to accomplish that will make people say, "I'm so glad I voted for him or for her"?
Well, this is a question I actually feel like I have a good answer for. Um, I'm hoping that people are like, wow, I'm really glad I voted for Krista because she's the one who said, come on, join us, do this thing, and got somebody else involved in their and on their own leadership journey. Like, that's what I want to do. I want somebody to be glad they voted for me because I had on my, I forget what the big button says, but it's like, ask me about leadership, and they're huge.
Yeah.
I'm hoping somebody ask me about leadership, and I go, great, I'm so glad to meet you. Let me find you this position. Let's find a position that fits for you.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm just so thankful that we were able to catch up, and everybody stay tuned. We're going to be talking to, fingers crossed, potentially every single candidate. I really hope that it all works out with our schedules. So we appreciate you, and thank you so much.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.